Hey, private practice dentists. In this episode, we're going to be talking about how dental SEO and Google reviews can help you compete against DSOs for new patients on Google. Stay tuned for digital marketing tips that will help you attract new patients online.
Welcome to Dental Business Excellence, the podcast dedicated to inspiring dentists to achieve optimal growth and success in their practices. Here, top dental experts will share their insights to bring the latest technology, tools, marketing techniques, practice management strategies, and business solutions that will help increase your bottom line. Here are your hosts, owner of AMP Dental SEO, Adrian Baines, and CEO of White & Associates Practice Consulting, Christian White.
Welcome to episode 1 of Dental Business Excellence. I'm Adrian Baines, your host, along with my co-host, Christian White. We're really excited to be launching this podcast. Thanks for joining us today. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about how dental SEO can help private practices compete against DSOs on Google search for new patients. After today's show, be on the lookout for 2 bonus episodes. One from me with some SEO tips for optimizing your presence on Google, and the other's from Christian, where he's going to be talking about how to deliver an exceptional experience for those new patients that find you on Google and they just pick up the phone and call you. So let's jump right into it. Christian, take it away.
All right. So like Adrian said, we have got a real humdinger of a show for you today. So let me tell you, we're going to talk about a topic that is mostly ignored in the private dental marketplace by the private dentist. How do you attract and retain new patients from your Google or from your online presence? And we've got a lot of great things to say. So Adrian, I'm just going to kick it right back to you, and let's move forward.
Yeah. So before we get into this, I'm going to be sharing my screen. So if you're listening to the podcast versus watching us on YouTube, I'd encourage you to go over to YouTube and watch this video, because I'm going to show a case study in a couple of minutes. And we're going to be talking about how dental SEO and how Google reviews can help you stand out and stand over those DSOs. So let me share my screen. All right, so I'm showing my screen here. Now, one of the most popular searches for dentist on Google is the phrase dentist, followed by your city or town name, or it could be the other variation would be your city or town name followed by the word dentist. But I'm going to search for dentist Fairmont. Now, the reason I search for dentist Fairmont is because we're working with a client in Fairmont, Minnesota that has a DSO like right across the street from them. So this is going to be a really great case study to take a look at for leveraging dental SEO. So here we are on my screen. And when someone does this search, the map section here at the top of the page gets over half of the phone calls for new businesses. It doesn't matter if you're a dentist, a plumber. If you show up in this map section, if you're one of these 3 top listings, you're going to get the majority of the phone calls coming in. So we're going to focus in on these results here. Now, our client is Birch Street Dentistry. And this one here at the top, Fairmont Family Dentistry, is the DSO that we're competing against. And I think it's really cool to point out that you don't have to be number 1 on this map section. I mean, you want to be in this map section to get those calls, but it's not important to be the top listing. What is important is to have the best reputation, the most reviews, because the reviews are what's going to bring new patients in, right? So if we look at our competitor, the DSO Fairmont Family Dentistry, they've got 9 reviews. So we're going to click in here real quick. Let's take a look at their reviews. You can see that their newest review was a year ago. So, it's just not anything recent. These are kind of outdated, kind of stale reviews. You should have a review. Your oldest review should be, 3 months old at the most. The idea is to get them coming in consistently. So if we look at our client, Birch Street Dentistry, you can see that they have 65 reviews. So I'm going to go ahead and click in here. We'll take a look at their reviews. And you can see that the newest review that they got was 2 weeks ago. We'll go back to the map section here at the top of the page. And the other option is this third clinic, and they only have 1 review. So when someone's looking for a dentist, they're going to go with one of the 2 clinics here. And if they don't have a referral or a recommendation for Fairmont, we're going to win pretty much every time, just because we've got a lot more reviews. And that's what patients are looking for. Okay, so if your clinic already shows up in this map section in your town, then that's great. But if you have the best reputation and the most reviews too, as compared to the other 2 listings, then you're absolutely crushing it. You're the market leader. But if you're not showing up in the map section, or if you're being dominated by a DSO in this map section, make sure you reach out to us for a free strategy session. It's going to be, there's no risk, there's no pressure. It's just completely value pack information. I'm sure a lot of you guys listening get referrals to stay productive, but the internet's where most of your new patients should be coming from, because dental SEO, it's an absolute goldmine when it's done effectively. And unlike referrals, it's scalable and predictable for growth. Christian, do you have any questions about what I just shared?
I think there's an important point that everyone who's going to watch this needs to know, and that is that 92% of potential new patients who come from an online places or listing like you're talking about read reviews before they decide to commit to scheduling an appointment at a dental practice. That is a huge number, and it really makes a huge impact on what Adrian is saying, and it makes a huge impact on the dental practice. I think that's just something everybody needs to know. So reviews are kind of a second thought when we have a patient in Op 1 who needs to have a crown done, and I totally understand that. But in terms of the marketing piece, getting more reviews is very important, and Adrian can do a great job of helping you get those reviews. I think an important question to ask you, Adrian, is, so when you look at something like this, where you've got a private dentist who may be underwater versus a DSO, how do you put together a plan for them to compete and to be able to get back up to where they need to be?
Yeah, one moment on that. I want to kind of just touch on that statistic that you mentioned. That's a statistic from Bright Local.
It is.
And I think it's important to emphasize that people will drive a few extra miles to see a dentist that has a great online reputation versus one that's a few blocks away that doesn't, right? So these reviews and getting a consistent flow of reviews, it's going to help you stand out from those competitors, even DSOs, and really grab the attention of that prospective new patient that's searching on Google. Now, you had asked, what we do to help them compete against these DSOs and corporate dentistry. So, simply put, we're going to help them dominate page 1 of Google search when someone is looking for a dentist. And if you have a stronger online presence, and if you have more reviews than your competitors, and this includes DSOs, you're going to win online every single time.
Great. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I think most private dentists, when you start talking about reviews and this online piece, a lot of them understand it, but they just don't have the time to invest in it just because of it's a dental business.
Yeah.
But it's just something that's just a little bit out of their scope. But so working with you would be a great idea for them. I think the other question I wanted to ask was, in the digital marketplace where you roam, how do you stand out? What makes you really appealing to dentists? Because I know you're really busy. You've got a lot going on right now. Dentists are finding you. Maybe talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So we're a performance-driven agency. We don't make clients sign long-term contracts. They're going to stick with us because they're getting results and because they like working with us. And because we've been working with dentists for several years, we've developed a strategy over that time where we're able to get at least a 3x return for our clients on their marketing dollars.
Wow, 3x. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Where do I sign up?
Just reach out to us. We can get you going.
All right, wonderful. Well,
anything else?
Great. No, that's I think you hit the nail on the head.
Okay. Well, I'm going to hand it back over to Christian now. He's going to talk about how private practices can deliver an exceptional experience from that very first phone call after that prospective new patient finds you on Google. Take it away, Christian.
Right. So as Adrian was talking about, he does all the pieces online to get the patients to find you and to pick up the phone and to call you. So what happens when that potential new patient comes from your online listing? How do you create value for them instantaneously? So they're like, this is the place I need to have my dentistry done for myself and for my family. The first phone call is huge. So when the front desk person picks up the phone, what do they say? How do you make an impact? Here's a thought for you. And the front desk person picks up the phone. Hi, this is Cindy at Smith Dental. How can we brighten your smile today? Now, just imagine if somebody said that to you when you called a potential new dental practice. I, for one, would be blown away. I think, Adrian, so would you.
Absolutely. Yeah. You just don't hear that. I mean, you hear that from our clients, but you don't hear that from a lot of the clinics when you call them.
No, you don't. In healthcare alone, I mean, try calling your doctor's office and let me know what type of response you get from the front desk person.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get that. So the patient instantly feels a connection to the office, and there's an emotional word in there, the word love. We would love to brighten your smile today, and we'd love to see new patients. I mean, it just makes you as a potential patient feel good. They're wanting to see me. So that is a huge piece. It's very difficult sometimes for dental practices, excuse me, to get new patients to schedule. So using, what you say and how you say it is very important. Here's another point. This does not happen very often in private dentistry. Most private dentists don't do this, but if you really, really want to knock a potential new patient out of their socks, do this. The dentist knows that Adrian is going to come to their office. Dr. White knows that Dr. Adrian Baines is coming to his practice tomorrow. So I pick up the phone and I give Adrian a call. Hey, Adrian, this is Dr. White from White Smiles Dentistry. I see that you're going to come to our office tomorrow. We love new patients. And do you have any questions or concerns? Again, Adrian's going to be blown out of his socks. When was the last time the doctor ever did that?
They don't ever call.
They never do that. It's just kind of, you show up and it's like they're there for 2 minutes and they leave.
Yeah.
Again, you don't see that very often. So that's a huge thing that the dentist can do just right off the bat to really make that great first impression and to really create value. And I think the next point I wanted to make is this. In dentistry, we are in the experience business, not the tooth business. This little tooth that we have, we put in people's heads, that's not the end-all be-all. It's not the vehicle that wheels the patient into the operatory. Some dentists have not figured that out yet. And the ones that do have the most successful practices because we work with them. But in the dental marketplace right now, when you're talking about the experience piece of dentistry, there's a new trend, and it's how do I pay my bill? Now, how can I pay my bill? Which traditionally, you walk into the dental practice, you see your hygienist, you see the doctor, you get your dentistry done, and you stop by the front desk and talk to Cindy and pay your bill. And now that is no more. That is the pre-COVID way of doing things. Now the way that things are starting to be done is I walk in, I sit down on the hygiene chair, I pay my bill in the chair, I get up, I walk out, and I go on with my day. I don't have an interruption of having to waste 4 to 6 minutes at the front desk anymore. So seamless payment is something that's really important. Pay and then go. That is the new trend. Patients, especially younger patients like the Generation Z and the millennial kids, I call them kids, but they want to pay and go. I should be able to pay my bill in the chair and go. I shouldn't have to waste time talking to people. And that's kind of what their thought process is. And they're dominating the marketplace because they're the next really big generations that are coming up. So if a private dentist, if you're able to provide that, a wireless payment system in your office with a wireless kiosk in every operatory, and the patients can pay in the app, that just puts you heads and tails above your competition. So I think those are three really great points just to kind of maybe jot some notes down about and just keep that on your front lobe.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
Oh, you're welcome.
And like I said at the beginning of the show, guys, stay tuned for our bonus episodes. I'm going to be shooting an episode where I dive into SEO, and then Christian's going to be doing a bit deeper dive into what he just shared with you. But we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here today. Thanks for joining us on this first episode. We really appreciate you tuning in to Dental Business Excellence. Next month, our special guest is going to be Dr. Frank Milner. He's a top 10 dentist in America, and he's going to be talking about how to retain your staff in today's challenging economy. All right, thanks. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to the Dental Business Excellence Podcast. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts so you don't miss the next episode. While you are there, leave us a rating and review to help us spread the word about the show.